Hi, and welcome to the 2019 Westchester University Dietetic Internship Pre-Select Process video. This is Becky Wojcik talking, and I'm going to lead you through the process of how to apply to our internship as a pre-select candidate for our new internship as of last year. Just a couple highlights of our program. We have a Master's of Science in Community Nutrition that's combined with the Dietetic Internship program. Those of you listening to this video would either have already completed the Master's at Westchester or are currently in our Master's program. In order to completely finish the program, you do have to complete both the MSCN coursework and the Dietetic Internship coursework and complete the capstone. At the end of all that, you will be eligible to take the exam to become a registered dietitian nutritionist. Our focus in the program is on community nutrition. It's around a 2-year full-time program that incorporates 10 months of supervised practice experience. Part of that internship and master's program, the only time you have to come to campus is for a 3-day on-site orientation. If you are selected into the internship, that would be the fall of the following year. So in this case, it would be in August of 2020. It's usually the first couple days before the semester starts, the week before semester starts. We do really exciting activities, hands-on learning, and you get to meet all of your other classmates in the dietetic internship program. As most of you know, all of our classes are online, including the advanced MNT course that is part of the internship that is completed over the summertime before you start your internship. We also are an intern selected internship rotation. So wherever you live or are going to be living, you find your own sites and preceptors that will fit into your interests and also into your geographic location. And so that's really a distance internship. We don't set up the sites for you. You find your own, but I can help you through the process. For those of you that don't already know, we're going to have a virtual open house on Wednesday evening, November 13th at 5 p.m. Please see your email for the invitation and the registration link, but mark your calendars now for Wednesday, November 13th. In order to be eligible for our pre-select process, you have to be in one of two categories. You either have to be a current Westchester University MSCN student that has completed 9 credits, and that means that you can have completed them at the end of this fall, 2019, or previously, with a maintained GPA of a 3.0, and you also would have to have a DPD verification statement. So this is completing that didactic curriculum as an undergraduate, either at Westchester or another program. Or you could have completed our Master's of Science in Community Nutrition program already and obtained a 3.25 GPA and also have a DPD verification statement. So you're either a current student with 9 credits or a program graduate from Westchester. Many of you have had a lot of questions about our distance internship. So I just want to go over some of the details about when things are completed. Distance for us means that you will select your own preceptors for the 4 different rotations that you will complete over the course of about 10 months. In the fall of 2020, if you're accepted to our program, you would be completing Clinical 1, which is really inpatient clinical. The requirement of hours is 264 hours or about 33 days. This can be done in an inpatient setting at a small or a large acute care hospital, subacute hospital, long-term care, or rehab. The dietitian has to have at least 1 year of experience, and they have to be a registered dietitian that's overseeing you, and they do need to work full-time, or ultimately the preceptors, if there's 2 part-time RDs, they still have to be able to oversee you the entire time that you're there. In community, it's 300 hours or 37 and a half days. Community can be accomplished in WIC, which is Women, Infants, and Children program, a food bank, SNAP education programs, child and adult care food programs, commodity or congregate meals. Those can be completed during the first half of clinical. The first half of the semester can be clinical, and then the other second half can be community, or you could do community first and then clinical second, just as long as it falls into the fall semester of 2020. In the spring of 2021, dietetic interns would finish clinical 2, which is really the outpatient side of clinical, for 288 hours or 36 days. This can be done in the outpatient setting of an acute hospital, ambulatory care center. Some people do it at a clinic or private practice, diabetes education centers, dialysis centers, oncology centers. The other part of the rotation is the food service management. That's 300 hours or 37 and a half days. And this can be completed in school nutrition, in a hospital, long-term care setting, or a corporate food service operation. It totals about 1,152 hours of actual supervised practice in the rotation sites. We also have students complete a course that goes along with each of these classes, these rotations, with projects that include role playing and case studies to meet the overall 1,200 hours that are required for the accreditation by the Ascend board. For your application for Preselect, we require that you do have an inpatient clinical preceptor that has already agreed to take you if you're selected to the program. This must be a registered dietitian nutritionist with at least 1 year of experience. And like I said, they need to be working full time or at least have dietitian coverage to oversee you on a full-time basis over those 7 weeks. In community, it can be either an RD with a minimum of 1 year after they've gotten credentialed of experience, or it could be a non-RD that has held the nutrition-related position with at least 2 years of experience. Other preceptors that we would like you to also reach out to see if you can include in your application is Clinical 2. And this also must be an RDN with at least 1 year of experience. And then the food service management rotation must be either an RDN with at least 1 year of experience or hold a nutrition or food related position with a minimum of 2 years of experience. We highly recommend that you include the Clinical 1 and the community preceptors in your application. This provides us a much better idea of the type of candidate that you are. If you can also include Clinical 2 and food service, it takes a burden off of both you as a student and me as the internship director, if you are selected our program, to find additional sites. For the required Clinical 1 and community, we do say that we really must have you if you're pre-selected to our program, you do have to have these in place by February 14th, which would be the day before our DICUS application is due, in order to be fully accepted into our program. If you're unable to find Clinical 1 and community, one preceptor for each, by February 14th, you may have to forfeit your pre-selected slot in our program. And this is looked at on an individual basis. Tips for securing preceptors. I would suggest that you research facilities, sites, and your geographic region. Many hospitals are often already contracted with other internship programs, but there are sites that will take multiple interns at a time, or if you already have worked there or established a relationship with people, it's much more likely that they will actually take you as a potential intern rather than if you don't know them at all. Being a part of our Master's of Science in Community Nutrition, you also have professors that you can ask and see if they have any recommendations. Maybe you also know some other students that either are already RDs that might take you as a student, as an intern, or other students that have been successful in finding preceptors and they could share that site with you. There's also former interns. So we have a list from last year or this year that they're in currently that have been successful in finding preceptors. So we could always connect you with those interns as well. The best way to really ask somebody to be your preceptor is to establish a relationship with that person. Many times people find that if they volunteered with an organization or if they've been able to work at a place, people already then know who you are and what you're willing to do and your work ethic, and they're much more likely to take you. So I would tap into those potential resources in order to secure a preceptor. If you're viewing this now in November, I would definitely contact any of the connections that you already know and preceptors now in order to see if they could consider you as an intern at their site. Many times you will be competing with other distance interns closer in December and January because people are being prepared for DICUS, getting prepared for DICUS in February. So now's a really great time to connect with some preceptors if you can. If you can, it's best to visit people in person, but email and phone calls also can work. Be prepared and do your research. So before you email or call someone, make sure you understand what the facility does, and you're going to need to be able to sell yourself on why they should consider you and why you would be the best candidate. So if you're cold calling, you really need to sell yourself and set yourself apart. So think about things like you're already a current graduate student or you've already completed the graduate program. That sets you apart from someone else. Or do you have a specific amount of experience in the area or a really heavy interest in something? Are you a community member of the population that site or facility serves? For example, if your local hospital is really a community-based organization and that you've utilized that hospital, or your family members have utilized it, or someone that you know works there, you might give you a better connection to the potential preceptor. I also would really suggest that you follow your interests. This is the time with the distance internship that you can really tweak and be flexible with this program to make it unique to you. So if you're really interested in the elderly, for example, then make sure that you're researching long-term care facilities. If you're interested in pediatrics, I would suggest looking into nutrition programs that provide services to the kids and infant population. I also would love to say that many of our interns get discouraged when they start to look for preceptors, but I say please stay hopeful. Everyone that was accepted to our internship was successful at finding preceptors, and you can be too. Just stay hopeful and know that you will secure what you need to secure for the internship. Just to give you a little idea of how the courses run for our internship, so many of you may be finishing up the nutrition capstone over the summer, so that's why I've concluded or included that here. So here is when the summer 1 nutrition capstone, that's about 2 months from May to middle of June if you're in that curriculum plan. If not, don't worry about the nutrition capstone until afterwards, the next summer. But I just want to highlight that for those of you that might be on that kind of plan. The official internship really starts with summer 2, which is advanced medical nutrition therapy. This is an intense 5-week course that's online. So you do need to be prepared for a lot of work and a lot of studying and really focusing on preparing yourself for the internship. We recommend that you do not work or have like a full-time job during this time because not only is the class pretty intense, but we will also be completing orientation during that 3rd week in August. During the fall, you would be doing your community rotation during the time that you would also have a class, and that means 1 hour a week that you also have associated projects with. And then during Clinical 1, same thing, you'll have a 1 hour a week online class. These can be flipped, so here's the dates for the 8-week time slots. If you need to complete your clinical first and your community second, that can be done, or vice versa, community first and clinical second. We generally have a winter break that's allowed to really take a break for about 5 weeks. This is also the time to get prepared for the next internship rotation or make up any days or times or projects that you might not have finished during the fall semester. And then in the spring, we have the dietetic internship supervised practice clinical 2 experience. That's outpatient that I talked about. And during that time, you will have a 1 hour a week online meeting with your classmates, and food service management. And you can do the clinical 2 first, and then the food service second, or vice versa. These can be swapped where you do food service first and clinical second. And then depending on your curriculum plan, at the culmination of this, you would either completely finish the program if you've already done your capstone after May 14th, if you've completed all the requirements, or you would finish the nutrition capstone in the summer. And that would be the end of the program. And after the capstone, you would then get your verification statement. In the email that you'll be receiving along with this video, there will be Preselect application documents. These are the required items that need to be submitted when you apply for the Preselect program, for the dietetic internship program. The first one will be a dietetic internship Preselect candidate information form. This includes things like your name, your email address, grades, and just a kind of a cover sheet of who you are. Number 2 is the dietetic internship preceptor selection and agreement form for both clinical and community. If you have clinical 2 and food service, you can also include that. But we want to make sure that you have at least clinical 1 and community included. You will also be completing a DI distance rotation schedule template. So you're going to fill in your proposed facilities, preceptors, and dates for the year, for the 2020 to 2021 school year. You're also going to want to include 2 letters of recommendation in your Preselect application. And I would suggest that, for your letters of recommendation, that when you go to ask a professor or a supervisor, that they should either write the letter of recommendation and put it in an envelope that's sealed and then signed along the back, so that I know that, they're the only person that has looked at and seen that recommendation, or they can send their letter of recommendation directly to me, the internship director, Becky Wojcik, via email. And that seems to be a very easy process. You're also going to include a personal statement. And there's 3 questions that you'll need to answer on the personal statement. You're going to include a copy of your resume and also a copy of your DPD verification statement. And then also the last thing would be a transcript from your MSCN. It can be unofficial. We just want to make sure that, that you meet the requirements, that you've completed at least 9 credits, and that you have a 3.0 or better. So that should be included in your application. I would suggest that for those of you that are taking classes this fall, I would wait until after, I think it's December 14th, I believe it is, when the grades come out, to include that grade sheet in your application to show what courses and grades you've gotten for the fall semester. For the timeline for the Preselect application, we're going to be accepting applications between Thursday, January 2nd, 2020 to Friday, January 10th, 2020. And I must receive it by 4:30 on Friday, Eastern Standard Time. The university is closed December 23rd through January 1st, and I cannot accept any hand-delivered applications or confirm the receipt of any mailed applications if you decide to send it earlier than January 2nd. You can submit your application in a sealed envelope by United States Postal Service certified mail, or you can deliver it in person to me at the following address. After we receive applications, we will review all applications, really based on things like your grades, volunteer work experience, certifications, involvement in either community or university programs or clubs. And we're also going to look very closely at your letters of recommendation. After we review all applicants, we will be conducting virtual interviews for applicants that we feel meet our criteria for the internship. Those will be conducted sometime between January 14th and January 30th. If you're not selected during the pre-select time, you still can apply to our WCU DI through DICUS. The deadline for that is February 15th. So I'd highly suggest to have your DICUS application also ready to go if for some reason that you aren't selected during the pre-select process. If you have any questions about the actual MSCN coursework, I would recommend that you reach out to Dr. Mary Beth Gilboy. And if you have any specific questions about the DI or the dietetic internship, the pre-select process, anything about preceptors or the application for the dietetic internship, please contact me, Becky Wojcik, at my email address. My phone number is 610-436-2264, and I am located at Schursbecker Health Science Center, office number 303, if you are a student that comes to campus and would like any more information. Thank you so much for joining me today for our internship pre-select application process, and please reach out to me if you have any questions in the future.